Hey guys, welcome back to Zethythonix channel. Welcome back to another H.L.M.S episode. After all the previous episodes on CE and AC, today we are back to the UC world again. As for today's video is Hyaku Shiki from the Mobile Suit Gundam Zeta, my top 3 favorite MS during the Grips conflict. Before we start this video, make sure you subscribe to me and hit the bell next to it. Enjoy! Since 1 year war, Mobile Suit proved their value, power and practicality. Despite having a lot of outstanding features, but its weakness was very easy to spot as well: lack of flight and travel ability. Especially during atmospheric battles, the gravity was pulling the MS movements and heavily affected its speed. To solve this problem, you will see a lot of MS will often have carriers to take them around or standing on a sub-flight system. These two methods solve the problem but is still inconvenient. UC-85, the Colony 30 at Psi 1 was suppressed by the Titans using poison gas, causing everyone in that colony were all dead. Since then, the Earth Federation split into 2 factions, Titans and Hyaku. Somewhere around that time, the Titans successfully developed H.L.M.S, full form as Transformable Mobile Suit. Hyaku collaborated with the other Hype Electronics and started the famously known Project Zeta. Nearly 90% details of this project were unknown, so I can't fill in the information. Anyway, the project's goal was developing the next generation transformable mobile suit, or develop mainstay MS for Hyaku. After the successful development of the Gamma Gundam, which was the Rigdiers, the AE started to develop the 4th unit of Project Zeta, Delta Gundam. When Hyaku stole the Gundam Mark II from the Titans, the AE successfully received the new movable frame data. Combined movable frame and transformation system together, this was the concept of the Delta Gundam. However, when AE was designing this Gundam, they ran into a serious problem. The statistics showed the developers that the movable frame was fragile and is not strong enough to handle the stress loads from the transformation system. During high G environments, the transformation process will have a high chance to cause multiple parts in the inner frame to distort. If the Delta Gundam still insists to use the movable frame, it will accelerate the metal fatigue and potentially disassemble itself during combat, which was why this design only existed in data form at the beginning. But there were some special features on it that worth to explain. The most noticeable feature was the gold coating all over the body. It's called anti-beam reflective coating. This coating is multiple layers of high specific heat capacity material on top of the MS armor. It will provide the MS a sacrificial protection against any type of beam weapons. But the coating could only tolerate a few hits in the same spot before it was completely ablated. But this coating is very expensive, which was why it was only equipped on the Delta series. Another special feature was the Wave Rider mode. Through the transformation system, it will instantly transform into this mode. This mode allows the MS to fly at a high speed in space or in the atmosphere. If needed, it could also serve as a sub-flight system to carry other MS on top of it. The Wave Rider form allows the Delta Gundam to achieve independent atmospheric re-entry, so it don't need the balloon system anymore. On the back of the Delta Gundam, you'll see 2 binders. These binders were main wings during Wave Rider form and M-back controls during MS mode. M-back system is a technology that allows thrusterless maneuvering in 0G environment. It will achieve by precise movement control from the MS limbs. Before I make a short explanation, I must remind you that I never studied physics in my whole life. So if there is wrong information, please tell me down below. M-back system leverage Isaac Newton's 3rd law of motions, which is when there's an action, there is an equal and opposite reaction. Let's say the MS swing its left arm to the side. The rest of the body will turn to the opposite side. When the motion of the arm stopped, the whole action will stop too. M-back system coordinates movements and micro movements precisely, allowing a continuous balance and stability without expanding reaction mass. In a nutshell, reduce the thruster usage to achieve simple movements and micro movements. The Delta Gundam armaments include 60mm Falcon gun, beam rifle, shield with a beam saber in it, Unfortunately, the Delta Gundam development was stopped due to the technological issues. Since its base stats were already excellent, the concept was redesigned and Hyaku Shiki was born. The developers removed the transformation system and repositioned its purpose. The Hyaku Shiki was created as a high-speed combat MS. First, AE kept the movable frame data and put it into Hyaku Shiki, which was why it had very high level of sportiness, and at the same time it's very difficult to control as well. Only an ace level pilot could control the Hyaku Shiki and use its full power. The Hyaku Shiki was given to Shot Quattro Bagina. With his high-level piloting skills, the Hyaku Shiki could perform at its maximum power. The head design of the Hyaku Shiki was inspired from the prototype Zeta Gundam X1. The design on the Hyaku Shiki was similar to Gundam type head. At the front and back of the head, it was equipped with high-precisive sensors. At the left side of the head, you can see a high-performance antenna. The most unique feature on the head was the Image Directive Encode System, short form as IDE. This is a visor-type sensor mounted on the head. When the sensor is doing precision aiming or searching, the eyes will have a unique scanning pattern. Also, the visor contains a pair of camera eyes, which will light up depend on the situations. The arms of the Hyaku Shiki were inspired by Red Deers. With the movable frame in it, the agility and reliability were increased. The torso was inspired by Red Deers as well. The appearance was very similar like the Red Deers. However, the Hyaku Shiki cockpit is in the chest, the reactor became smaller but the output didn't drop at all. On the Hyaku Shiki's backpack, there is a pair of thrusters and 12 different thrusters all over the body to ensure the mobility. Just like the Delta Gundam, the Hyaku Shiki was coated with beam resistance coating. The golden color is a coating, but at the same time it represents Eugos spirits and became the symbol of a leader. As I said, Hyaku Shiki was a redesigned version of Delta Gundam, which was why you can still see some elements of the Delta Gundam. The legs of the Hyaku Shiki was the sequela of the Delta Gundam. As you can see, the exposed frame on the legs were from the Delta Gundam. But since the frame was exposed, the weight was reduced and the sportiness was increased. On the back, you will see the binders again. These binders were just small difference compared to the ones on the Delta Gundam, but it will still serve as impact control. The Hyaku Shiki armaments include 60mm Falcon gun, beam sabers on the back waist, BRM-87 beam rifle, 300mm clay bazooka from the Red Deers, and FHA-03M1 Mega Bazooka launcher. Mega Bazooka launcher, a weapon specifically designed for the Hyaku Shiki. It was the most powerful class of beam weapons ever used by a MS during that era. Its firepower completely overpowered the main cannons on a battleship. The launcher itself is big, so it got its own thrusters. The Hyaku Shiki will normally hold on to the handle under the launcher to move it around. During shooting position, a pedal will come out to stabilize the launcher. Two main handles will flip out from the side, and there is a part to attach on the Hyaku Shiki's chest to further stabilize the launcher. Since the energy consumption was huge, the launcher itself had its own thermonuclear reactor, despite it got its own generator, but the charging time was still long. To speed up the process, it could draw energy from another MS generator and charge into the launcher with a cable. The most iconic scene was Shot Quattro Bagina used this launcher and wiped out half of the Axis MS group. The Hyaku Shiki cannot transform into Wave Rider mode. In order to achieve independent atmospheric re-entry, the Hyaku Shiki could equip the balloon system. A bowl-shaped balloon deploys to protect it from the friction heat of atmospheric entry. The balloon will detach when it enters into the atmosphere, leaving the MS with chest and leg hover units to stabilize the landing and move around for a while. The Hyaku Shiki was one of the main forces on Agama, participated multiple battles like Jabro Assault, Battle of Kilimanjaro, and Operation Maelstrom. However, during the last phase of the Grips conflict, the Hyaku Shiki was outdated compared to Dio and Kyubale. It was half damaged by Dio and Kyubale. Later, when the Kyubale came to fight Hyaku Shiki, the funnels shot down the Hyaku Shiki and disabled it. Quattro used the Falcon guns to trigger an explosion inside the battleship wreckage. Haman got out of it, but Quattro went missing after this incident during the first Neo-Zeon War, due to the fact that Eugol ran out of MS to fight Neo-Zeon forces. The Hyaku Shiki was repaired, or rumors said that it was the Unit 2. It became part of the Gundam team and piloted by Bicha Oleg for most of the time. By the way, the Hyaku Shiki's model number contained the number 100. It was because the developer, Professor M. Nagano, hoping to create a MS that could endure for 100 years, but ironically, it didn't survive for 1 year. In the mobile suit Zeta Gundam Divine, another Hyaku Shiki related MS was developed and used by Quattro. It's called Zero Shiki. It was developed using the Gundam Mark II and Hyaku Shiki data. using the Rigdier's design and redesigned the parts to fit the Gundam type design. The Zero Shiki's movable frame and overall technologies were improved, enhancing its combat ability and maneuverability. The Zero Shiki could equip 3 types of backpacks: a backpack similar to Hyaku Shiki design, a flight unit for atmospheric battles, and a full Banyan-like backpack. The Zero Shiki armaments include 60mm Falcon gun, a pair of beam sabers on the back skirt, and a beam rifle. The Zero Shiki participated multiple battles in the manga, such as the atmospheric re-entry, Jabra assault, and defending New Hong Kong from Psycho Gundam's attack. By the way, during the Jabra assault, the Zero Shiki was damaged. Law & Co. gave the repair parts to Eugo. Since Admiral Ray returned to the battlefield, the extra parts from the repair parts created another Zero Shiki. The armor used Zero Shiki was colored in white and purple. For the backpack part, it was equipped with the full Banyan-like backpack. So far, there were a total of 3 Hyaku Shiki confirmed to be manufactured. AE tested the Hyaku Shiki Unit 3. Using its data and testing result, they decided to rework the Hyaku Shiki top to bottom. The result will be the Hyaku Shiki Kai. Compared to the Hyaku Shiki, the Kai version upgraded the generator output, thruster output, and searching range. The Kai version focused on firepower upgrades, but at the same time further enhanced the overall mobility of the MS. First, AE removed the binders on the back and put a new high mobility backpack on it. If needed, the binders could come back too. The head design was changed. It looks like an alien, but there's advanced electronics in it, allowing the Hyaku Shiki Kai to improve the searching ability, especially under Minovsky particles interference. AE also improved the movable frame again. Compared to Hyaku Shiki, the maneuverability and sportiness were improved, which was why it could be piloted by normal pilots. The generator was changed to a newer model, reducing the energy loads while maintaining the outputs. To allow easy for produced condition, the design on the legs, arms, and shoulders were simplified. The Hyaku Shiki Kai armaments include grenade launchers on the forearms, beam sabers on the back skirt, BRM-87 beam rifle, 300mm clay bazooka, beam Gatling gun, pulse laser gun, and mega bazooka launcher. It wasn't sure how many Hyaku Shiki Kai was produced, but there were 2 confirmed. One of them sent to the Karaba, which they used it to develop and test a new land combat use unit. Another one was assigned onto the Irish class and piloted by Cliff Flaming. There were records about this unit fought against the Titans. Even though this unit was improved, but at the same time it became more complex to control due to the advanced electronics and extra weapons. The battle performance of it was not good at all. With a great design like Hyaku Shiki, Eugo definitely wanted to mass produce it to change the battlefield. So AE used the remaining wreckage of the Hyaku Shiki Kai, simplify the structure and weapons. Also, removing the binders on the back to reduce cost, the Hyaku Shiki Kai mass production type was created. The MP version removed the binders and high mobility backpack. They changed it back to the standard Hyaku Shiki backpack. Since this is an MP version, the OS, parts, and weapons were in control to make sure it won't be overpriced and avoid complex controls for the normal pilots. The MP version kept the beam sabers, beam rifle, and 300mm clay bazooka. Instead of the beam Gatling gun and pulse laser gun, it was replaced with 6-tube multi-purpose launcher that fire various type of ammunitions. Also, this version completely removed the ability to use the mega bazooka launcher. During the Grips conflict, this mass production plan was never come to life. As the transformable MS taking over as the mainstream in the battlefield, the plan was cancelled. In UC0094, one Hyaku Shiki Kai mass production type was seen in the Freshberg Corps base. It was used by Martin Murtaugh. It was deployed during Operation Devil Nest to attack the Titan's remnants. The operation was successful, but the Hyaku Shiki Kai MP type was completely wrecked. But the pilot didn't die and survived. Just like most of the Gundams in the UC world, the Hyaku Shiki Kai had a full armor form as well. But this form had very little data because it's hard to find its history-related manga. If you know more than me, please fill in the missing information. The full armor Hyaku Shiki Kai's firepower and defensive abilities were substantially increased to catch up with the additional weight. The developers increased the output of the thrusters and added new thrusters. It still has basic mobility, but it was the slowest compared to any other Delta series variants. The full armor Hyaku Shiki Kai still kept the anti-beam reflective coating and extra armor to increase the defense. there were new reflected panels on the shoulders. When it activates, it will generate an eye field to protect the cockpit. There were multiple new added weapons, but unfortunately, it's hard for me to get all the information as I don't have the fixed figuration or manga to read. The FA Hyaku Shiki Kai armaments include 2-tube missile pod, beam pulsar gun, beam sabers, mega particle cannon, beam cannons on the back, beam rifle, explosive bolts, and long mega buster. Other than fixed figuration and SDG Generation Genesis had its appearance and weapon displays, there are no other information I can find on the internet. Maybe if Bandai decide to release an MG of it, then we will know all the information. The FA Hyaku Shiki Kai was assigned to Cliff Flaming. The one he was given was the prototype unit. On November 20, UC-087, it was seen to battle against the Titans. The Titans sent out 2 mass production type Psycho Gundam. The FA Hyaku Shiki Kai successfully destroyed the MP-type Psycho Gundam. It was unknown Cliff destroyed both of them or one of them. Anyway, the FA Hyaku Shiki Kai was severely damaged as it was fighting against the MP-type Psycho Gundam. During the battle, the AE 3rd Development Division, which was the division that was responsible for Delta series development, was destroyed and the Delta project was officially closed. In UC-096, Martin Murtaugh piloted the FA Hyaku Shiki Kai and participated in the battles against Zeon Remnants and Nitro Squadron. One of the Hyaku Shiki Kai was given to Karaba. With the help from Law and Co., the land combat Hyaku Shiki Kai was developed. Karaba understood that relying on GM2 and Nemo were not enough to fight against the Titans or Neo Zeon. Since Eugor gave a lot of MS data to Karaba, they redesigned the Hyaku Shiki Kai to atmospheric use MS. First, the thrusters, armor, and internal parts were changed to atmospheric use specification. Karaba wanted this MS able to operate in any environment on Earth, which was why it had a full body water and dust-proof seals. The Hyaku Shiki Kai backpack was removed. The new backpack will work with the leg units to stabilize the MS during hover mode. The leg units also added a high-performance balancer and shock absorbers. Karaba often deployed MS with free-fall tactics. The backpack and leg units will reduce the shock and stabilize the landing. The land combat Hyaku Shiki Kai armaments include 60mm Falcon gun, beam sabers, hand grenades, 3-tube missile pod, beam cannon, beam rifle plus rail gun, and a shield with grenade launchers. Karaba manufactured 9 of these Hyaku Shiki Kai. 2 of them participated in the Battle of Kilimanjaro, and 1 of them deployed during the Defense Battle of New York. That battle result was unknown. After the successful development of Zeta Gundam and Hyaku in UC-087, AE used the data from them and reverse engineered it. Back in the days, the Delta Gundam development was stopped because of the technological issues, but now AE got the technologies and successfully recreated it. They didn't create a physical unit, but they successfully recreated in computer simulation. It even used the combat data of Quattro Bagina and fought a simulated battle with the Delta Plus. One fun fact, the Delta Gundam had a Unit 2 which colored in red and its intended pilot was Quattro Bagina. The Unit 2 was exactly the same as Unit 1, it was never produced and only existed in data form. Based on the Delta Gundam, the variant of it was created and is called Delta Plus. It is a prototype just like most of the Gundams, but it will be categorized as Prototype Mass Production Testing Unit. To reduce costs and for easier repairs, the golden coating was replaced by a simple dark grey color. This MS was completed in UC-0090, but Karaba and Eugor were already using the Zeta Plus series as the main forces. The Delta Plus was not as difficult to pilot as the Hyaku Shiki, but it still required a skilled pilot. In UC-0096, the La Plus conflict was started. The Delta Plus was given to Neru Agama as a supplementary MS. The Delta Plus power was used fully as the pilot, Lidi Masnas, had enough skills to perform better than the newest RGZ mass production series, Rizel. By the way, the Delta Plus had a biosensor on it like the Zeta Gundam. However, no pilots could use it as good as Camille did. The Delta Plus had a Wave Rider mode just like the Delta Gundam, which means it could achieve independent atmospheric re-entry. The Delta Plus armaments include 60mm Falcon gun, beam rifle, shield, 2-barrel grenade launcher on the side of the shield, beam cannon in the middle, and 2 beam sabers in the shield. The Delta Plus first launched during Battle of Palau, but Reedy's main job was to take the Princess Minerva to Earth, so he didn't fight much. On Earth, he was transferred to the Lark Island and assisted the Battle of Torrington. He met the Unicorn Gundam. Banaji tried to talk Lonely, Garvey, and Shamblo down, but he failed and Lonely went berserk. Delta Plus took the Unicorn Gundam's B mechanism and shot it directly to the Shamblo's cockpit and stopped it. Lastly, the Delta Plus tried to aim at both Unicorn Gundams and it was caught by the Unicorn 02 Banshee and wrecked half of it. In the Gundam narrative manga, there was another Delta Plus piloted by Pico Altador. It fought 4 DJs. Pico destroyed 2 of them before her Delta Plus was disabled by another DJ. One more thing, both narrative manga and Gundam Unicorn novel, the Delta Plus was equipped with Long Mega Buster from FA Hyaku Shiki Kai as its primary weapon. The final machine of the Delta series was developed by AE, enhanced version of the Delta Plus, introducing the Delta Gundam Kai. The development goal was testing new experimental technologies that could be used by future MS. Servo thrusters were added on the legs and back skirt. It allows the MS to fly in space or on Earth faster. The developers also modified the MS and Wave Rider form, as well as further enhanced the variable frame. It had a new reactor, brought back the Freevin for better communication system, enhanced the cooling system abilities and added new cooling units on the shoulders. The Delta Gundam Kai had multiple new weapons inspired from the past MS. It had a lot of experimental weapons, but at the same time became more complex for the pilot to control it. In order to effectively use the various number of weapons and proto-theme funnels, the Delta Gundam Kai was equipped with an experimental system called New Type Injection Trace Reform Old Type System, short form as Nitro System. It will forcibly change an old type pilot into cyber new type temporarily. The suit itself will emit blue flames during the process. However, because the system forcibly changed the pilot's ability, which means rewriting the brain, this system will cause the pilot's personality change to the bad side, unstable and unusually aggressive. Kind of like exam system side effects. Since this system was an experimental system, the ability was limited and easily overheat, which was why it could only control 2 proto-theme funnels. The Delta Gundam Kai armaments include Falcon Gun, Long Mega Buster, proto-theme funnels, shield with burst bolts, Mega Machine Cannon, 2 beam sabers, and High Mega Cannon at the middle of the shield. The High Mega Cannon was developed from the data based on the double Zeta Gundam, but the output was reduced to 46%. The Delta Gundam Kai was converted from the Delta Plus by AE. It fought a mock battle with the Delta Plus to test the Nitro system and defeated the Delta Plus. However, as soon as the mock battle ended, the Sleeves came and attacked both of the Deltas. The Delta Gundam Kai activated the Nitro system and instantly shot down all the Sleeves MS. But the pilot's mind was unstable after the battle. Then, the Federation officer ordered to transfer the Delta Gundam Kai to Earth. When the Delta Gundam Kai arrived at Area X in Mariana Base on Earth, it was heavily modified into land combat type Delta Gundam Kai. The shoulders, knees, and feet part were changed, became more suitable for undergravity combats. The Nitro system itself generates a lot of heat, which was why the shoulders and knees added high-performance cooling units like the Land Combat Hyaku Shiki Kai. The leg units were now changed to hover units. But because this machine will be used on Earth, the theme funnels were removed and changed to a Zeta Plus series-like binders. The armaments of the Land Combat type Delta Gundam Kai were the same like the Delta Gundam Kai, except the Long Mega Buster was changed to the beam rifle like the one on Land Combat Hyaku Shiki Kai. The Land Combat type was first launched during the Flashback Raven mock land battle, which Raven Corps suddenly turned it into actual battle. The Delta Gundam Kai arrived and attempted to control both sides, but Pico Altador knew the weakness of the Nitro system and captured it. Since I can't find the rest of the manga, all I know was that this Delta Gundam Kai launched again to take out the Zeon remnants in Pagan Island during some time. Thanks for watching this video. If you like this video, make sure you subscribe to me and hit the bell next to the subscribe button. What are your thoughts about the Delta series? Comment down below. Also, comment down below and tell me which topic you want to see in the future. Donation link is in the description and I'll see you in the next video. Goodbye.